So I'm thinking about this. I decide I'm going to go with the other deodorant, rinse it off, take my chances. So I managed to get a hold of my parents. My mother is sobbing, freaking out. I told her, I was like, man, they got vending machines up in here. I understand you can go out and smoke. Like, this isn't shit, I'll be fine. I missed my cell phone and some clean underwear. So, you know, for the most part, it was pretty uneventful. Although, you know, the worst part about being in jail is, for me, public showering. I really don't want to make somebody look at this. So, I would always wait until they called the first smoke break. First time you go outside in the morning, I was in the shower. I was ready to fucking go. So one time, you know, I'm taking a shower. I'm like, there's one other bitch in there. This bitch comes out of nowhere and stands directly across from me. Now, mind you, there's another shower area 6 feet away from me. It's not occupied. So she comes in front of me. She's fully dressed. This bitch drops trowel, starts shaving her pussy right in front of me. And she's using the jailhouse soap. And I didn't know what else to say except to offer her some conditioner. And I said, maybe this is better for your particular application. She didn't think that that was funny at all. So I proceeded to tell some of the other bitches in jail about this. I said, this bitch tried to shake her pussy right in front of me. Oh yeah, we heard about that. So then there's an altercation like 2 days later. And Tweet, you'll remember her. She starts lambasting this chick and says, what the fuck, man, you can't just do that. You can't just come upon somebody and start shaving your pussy. You can't just tweet your thing out. What the fuck? And I'm thinking like, man, she threw me under the bus. This shit's gonna beat my ass. So I bring her aside. I'm like, dude, she's gonna kill me. And she's like, no, she's done that before with several chicks. She was flirting with you. And I'm thinking, how hard up could this chick be? Granted, she's in jail. I mean, for real? So that was not the end of my altercations. There was this other bitch, and she would just sort of, I don't know the word, languish on her bunk. She would never doubt. She'd make all these other people, you know, run for her and do her errands and whatever. So I wrote a kite on her. A kite is when you tell on somebody on paper. So I did this. This bitch was named LaDonna, but then there was another LaDonna, and they got confused. Now the second LaDonna was kind of slow. So they had pulled her up and are questioning her as to her behavior. She doesn't know what the fuck is going on because it wasn't her, and she's slow. So I see this happening, I rush out, and I'm like, it's the wrong one, it's brought over here. So they figure out the right chick. So 2 days later, I'm getting dressed, and she goes, why don't you come over here? She's yelling at me from across the bunk. I said, why don't you come over here? And she's like, I asked you to come over here. I said, you know what? I said, you and I both know what the fuck I did? I said, if you want to talk about it like adults, I'm over here. So it's not 2 minutes later, until Tweet, my fave, comes down, and she said, did you just fucking tell her to come on over there and you know what the fuck I did? I said, yeah, I did. She goes, why the fuck did you do that? I said, what's the worst that could happen? I said, that bitch is 4'11", weighs 98 pounds. I said, at the very best, she might get one shot and I might hit the deck. And I said, and then she's gonna be hogtied and she's gonna go back to G. I said, I'd be glad to make the sacrifice to get her the fuck out of my face. And they were like, all right then. So I continued my time in jail, got let out early, went back to my job, life was whatever. And then I had an opportunity for promotion at work. But I had to get off probation so that the background check would go through. I said, well, let me write a letter to the judge. It's the worst that can happen. So I write this phenomenal letter like my boss wrote it. Oh, Carmen's worked for me for years. I knew she was a pothead. I don't give a fuck. Blah, 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 blah. She signs it. Now, the only reason that I got let off probation early was because this particular judge's daughter had gotten an MIP like 5 days before. So this bitch does not want any trouble with me. She knows that I will bring it up if I ask for a hearing. She lets me off probation. So I get a good job, whatever. Now you would think that one, after going through all that, would be like, man, I'm not gonna fucking smoke any weed and go to jail, all this bullshit. Yeah, I didn't learn my lesson. I'm high right now. So my folks are here, very supportive. My parents. My mom and I have an interesting relationship. We are very similar, and as such, we have conflict a lot of the time. And someone once said about my mother, Barbara, you give up more opportunities to shut your mouth than anybody I know. Now, apparently, this is something that's passed down in the DNA because I suffer from this to a much higher degree than I imagine my mother ever did. So, one of these examples, I had this friend. You guys hear about these toxic friends in Cosmo? Toxic. Frenemy. I had this bitch, she was my frenemy. Long story short, I had transported her across state lines after she had been convicted on credit card fraud. This was before my jail time, mind you. I was under the impression that she was good to go. And I was in love with her cousin who lived down in Missouri, and I said, well, let's go. So we go, only I don't have enough money to get back. So I call my parents. I gotta admit that Christy fucked me over again. I gotta use my get out of jail free card. So they send me some Western Union. I go up. So I'm driving across the country from damn near Oklahoma. And it's fucking hot and I'm too cheap to turn on the air conditioning. So I stop over at this truck stop. And I had these pants, you know, the zip off their pants and then their shorts. So I went in wearing the pants and a long sleeve shirt. I come out in a tank top and shorts. Ridiculous. All these truckers are like, what the fuck is this chick doing? They probably thought I was a fucking lot lizard. Except that I got right in my car and drove away. So somehow I make it home, traveled straight through, didn't stop except to eat, obviously. And so I get home, having a cigarette with my mom. It's like 5 in the morning. And she goes, you know, I was looking around in your bedroom. I straightened it up a bit. And I was looking for Christy's parents' telephone number. And I looked in your nightstand. And I found some stuff that I didn't really want to see. And I said, well, that's what Snoop's got, bitch. Bad news.